Let's have it for this lady who did 1,100 kilometers, 18,000 meters of climbs, 9 days of unstopped cycling in unceased effort, and she's really enriched the coffers deservedly for these 3 wonderful charities. Let's have it for the women of the moment.
Good afternoon, and thank you for everybody for being here and for the opportunity to speak today. Cycling was my lifeboat about 7 years ago. I got my very first big order in my first year of business, and I used up all my savings. I withdrew my provident fund, my pension fund and everything to cash roll this business and this order. And as I was about to deliver my last part of this order, I got a call to say, this company is going into business rescue and you won't be paid. So needless to say, I had no money, I had staff to pay, and I had debt to my suppliers. And obviously my headspace wasn't in the best condition. So I thought I have to do something just to get things sorted out for myself. And a friend of mine told me about the cycle from Johannesburg to Durban. I thought, yeah, that sounds like something I need to do. That's going to sort things out for me. I told my family, and they thought I was totally mad because I've never cycled more than 20 kilometers on the road. I've only been doing some spinning. Needless to say, I did the cycle tour from Joburg to Durban. It was great. I didn't know how to take my water bottles out of the cages. In the beginning, I had to stop, take a sip, put it back. I learned that on the tour. But the cycling, really, it changed for me. It changed everything for me. I got my head clear, and I knew I'm going to fix my business up, and I'm going to get through it. And since then, cycling has been really integral part of my life and who I am. I've been privileged to cycle, like Johnny mentioned, Nana, in Cape Town, all the mountains in Cape Town. I've done in the Sabi tour, we cycled to Mozambique. I've gone with a bunch of girlfriends and we cycled in the Alps. We saw the guys from Tour de France fly past us the one day. It was really an amazing experience. In lockdown, I've cycled for a charity to help the guys that doesn't have food because everybody lost their jobs. I did an indoor cycle race. They call it the 360, but we did it indoors. And I cycled for 16 hours and 47 minutes non-stop indoors. So cycling has been really great for me. And then obviously cycling also brought all of us together today. Has given me an opportunity to cycle from Spain to Portugal. And this time around, this tour was not a lifeboat for me, but it's a lifeboat for so many other women out there. This tour has been the hardest that I've ever done. Like we said, we've cycled 1,100 kilometers. It's the furthest, the highest, and the longest days consecutively on the bike, and definitely the most I've trained for anything. In the mornings, we would start at about 8:30 in the morning, and we would be on the road the whole day. We would get most of the nights, we'll only get home at 7, 7:30, and it was really hot. There was days like 45 degrees, so you're out on the bike the whole day. But the scenery was amazing. It was so beautiful, the companionship was great, and then obviously the food just made up for it. It's nothing like Portuguese and Spanish food, right? And those little pastries. Like I mentioned, Nana, one day we climbed so high that we actually passed the clouds. So the clouds were at the top of the mountain, the clouds were below us. And from that climb we had to go downhill, and it was one very scary downhill. So I had to hold on for dear life. I'm not mad on the downhills. And there were some crazy switchbacks, and it was like very, very scary. Also on the tour, I did get lost once or twice. We downloaded the GPX files on my Garmin, and then in the village, they've got these cobblestone villages, like you go like this, and my Garmin rerouted, so I took a complete different road, and I cycled quite a few kilometers extra and climbed a bit more. But I did get to my destination, and I thought, that's such a life lesson to learn. Sometimes we do feel a bit lost, and we are a bit lost, but if you just keep pedaling and you just keep moving forward, you're bound to reach your end destination. Your support for this very worthy cause really helped me up those mountains someday, when the mountain seemed like it's never going to end. I knew that I've got this amazing support system behind me. I've got to finish this thing to get this money to these ladies that's doing such a worthy cause, and so thank you for that. Abuse against women is something that affects women from all races. It's all races. It affects matter their race, its economic or social background. It's not just a certain race or a certain income bracket. It affects all women from all walks of life. And you, as a pledger, made really a difference in these women's lives. You made a difference by pledging and supporting these charities. We decided, firstly, like Derek mentioned, for the Frida Hartley shelter they turned 100 years old, and we thought, it's brilliant, they're turning 100 years old. They also want to expand to accommodate 100 women, and we wanted to pledge 110,000 Rand, so it all worked out so nicely, all the numbers. So we went to see Cheryl, and we said, okay, we want to work for them, and we're going to pledge for them. And then 3 weeks later, we actually reached the 110,000 mark, and we're like, we're going to be brave, and we're going to go for 220,000. Work, amazing marketing team behind it. And then we reached it. And this money, then we decided to give it to the National Women Movement Shelter of South Africa. They're doing a great job. They've got 96 charities underneath them. And what really grabbed us is that they've got a lifeline that if a woman is in an abusive situation at that moment, she can phone the lifeline, and then they will tell her, okay, this is your closest shelter. And where it's possible, they also arrange Uber, or they arrange taxi, or they've got a network of people in the area to pick the women up and take her to the closest shelter. And then during this ride, day 8, I got a call and said, you won't believe it, but we've tripled it. We've made 330,000 Rand. I was really brought to tears, and I'm so humbled for everybody's support for this. And we looked at different charities, and we decided on NISA because they also help women. But then as soon as a woman gets to their door and they've got a kid that's older than 12 years old, or a boy that's older than 12 years old, they get turned away. They can't accommodate them. And the money that we're going to be able to give to them now will help them to not turn these women away, and actually build family rooms that these boys and their moms can also have a house to stay at. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support in helping to raise funds and create awareness that men of steel don't abuse women. We protect women, and also to give women a voice. And I would like to call on you all to please keep making a difference and stand up against women abuse. We all know somebody, everyone here knows somebody that has either been abused personally or in their close circle of friends. And abuse is not just physical. Sometimes abuse is sexual, it's psychological, it's verbal. And verbal abuse is sometimes the hardest thing to identify. And a lot of time women go through abuse and they're so scared to speak up, or they're embarrassed to speak up, or they feel trapped and they can't get out. And so I would ask you to please be vigilant for the women in your life, and just see if there's anything, or if anything looks not right, then make the difference still, and stand up and get the woman out of a situation before it's too late for her. I would like to end this speak today to thank you, Stuart and Lloyd. You guys you really are an amazing company, an amazing team of people that work here. Thank you for standing with me on this campaign. Thank you for all the hard work, for the marketing team, for Eve, you were brilliant. Late nights, early mornings, shameless nights, we came back and Eve was here getting the tent up for putting this beautiful event together. Mainly all the travel arrangements, it's been a bit up and down. Ronman for all your help all the time. For Derek phoning all these pledges and the suppliers and getting the money in. And Graham, for you as well, thank you for making sure it's part of it.